else. Woohoo!
Well.
What do you want to use as your bumper music, sir?
Oh, I don't know. Surprise me.
How about this one?
That works.
Okay, except now it's not doing what I'm telling it to do. What the hell? That was weird.
Everybody loves the Archies.
I guess I was actually in something else. But I got it now. And relink up the Bluetooth.
So are we live? People hear us?
Oh, yeah. Well, they can hear us on the stream side and on 65 side. We are not quite live officially yet, though. So I'll be bringing up the sounder in a minute, so we know when to start pushing the right buttons. But I was trying to spare you from some of the commercials. But
Oh, okay. Okay, it's podcast time.
This is Joanne Jenkins, CEO of AARP. The coronavirus continues to affect us all, and we are here actively supporting you and your community. Every day, we're providing trusted information from top health experts, sharing tools to help protect families from fraud, and creating resources to support family caregivers everywhere. As always, you can count on AARP to advocate for you and your family. Join us and stay connected at aarp.org/coronavirus.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day, protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honors and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Not to be a backseat driver, but can you say for sure you got the best monthly payment possible on your auto loan? Could it be that you might have gotten a better deal by shopping the loan at a few places and have a lower car payment? Next time, before you go car shopping, visit Communication Federal Credit Union first. Our auto loan experts will find you a perfect loan and get you the lowest monthly payment we can. Communication Federal, your auto loan experts. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Otherwise known as Chat Lives Matter Day, right here live on KLR Radio. I'm one half of the crew for the In the Basement program because G's off tonight, so we're shaking things up a bit. So we've got me hanging out with Andrew, helping him do his thing for about 90 minutes, and then Ordy and I will be finishing off the night here shortly. So good evening, Andrew. How are you?
Oh. I'm old.
Hey, I resemble that remark. Oh, wait, you meant you. Never mind.
Yeah. I actually had a birthday this past weekend. Or it's a day I recognize. Granddaughter's
Wait,
made
are
me
you
cherry cobbler, so it was my birthday.
nice? Cherry cobbler. I haven't had that in a while. I prefer peach, but cherry would be good.
Oh, I can't handle peaches. They tend to leave fur on my tongue. Bah.
Okay. Yep. Sorry. Gotta do it.
Go for
Giggity,
it.
giggity. Giggity goo. Stick around.
Just saying.
Well, that and the fact that now whenever I think of peaches, I think of the Super Mario Brothers movie with Jack Black singing "Peaches, peaches, peaches, peaches."
Oh, good God. Why did you have to remind me of that?
You're welcome. Zelda, somehow that doesn't surprise me. You don't know who the Archies are?
I mean, this is Zelda we're talking about. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. The bad part about it is we've all played Zelda.
This is true.
Multiple
So
variations.
what's going on with you, man? What's new in your world?
Oh, I've actually been home for a while.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising too. I'm working still at the house here, but they're paying me, and that's all that matters. We blew up all sorts of stuff this weekend. Nobody lost a finger though, so I'm not sure we really had 4th of July weekend. And I've been trying to ignore the news cycle.
Well, then what are we doing? Because this is going to not help you ignore the news cycle.
Well, I can only be a rep for so long. Then I got to go see a doctor. And how do you explain that, right? Doc, yeah, no, it's not from the blue pill. I saw the Biden press conference.
You just admitted to a senile old man making you hard for longer than 4 hours. I don't think that went the way you wanted it to go.
Well, it's not the old man that's making me hard. It's all the other people. My God, is it a shit show?
I mean, it has been though for like the last 4 years. That's why I'm so surprised that everybody's like, "Oh my God, I had no idea it was this bad." Yeah, most of you did. You just didn't care because he was still better than the orange man as far as you were concerned, because you were still getting your slice of the pie, you little bastards.
Well, the only thing that surprises me out of it all is it's been a shit show. Now they just turned it up to we were at 10. Now we're at like 30. And they're trying to gaslight it with, well, and you got and I love the ones that are coming out. Well, 6 months ago, last year when I talked with him, I knew something was wrong. And now you think you get off the hook and don't get flamed?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's not that they didn't know. And this is what I keep explaining to people. It's not that they didn't know. It's that they were hoping we would never know. And now that we know, they don't know what to do because they've been able to convince their side that it's all a bunch of crap that we're making up to make them feel bad because Donald Trump thinks that the election was stolen and we're just a bunch of bitter people who can't get over it. When the truth of it is, everybody has known this man has had a problem since 2019. Stacey and I talked about it earlier. In 2019, they started declaring lids at 11 a.m. while he was campaigning. His campaign staff were declaring lids at 11 a.m. And everybody's like,
if they went that long.
Yeah. And I much like what happened in 2020 with the election, I had never seen that before. I'm like, what do you mean they declared a lid at 11 a.m.? That during campaign season? Are you serious? And then everyone, well, it's just because of COVID. No, trust me, it wasn't just because of COVID. It was because they were already starting to see issues. Because we were already starting to see issues. How you know it's as bad as it is now is if you look at Joe Biden now versus Joe Biden then, he sounds like a Rhodes Scholar in 2020 compared to what he sounds like now. And he didn't sound that sharp in 2020. But comparatively speaking, it's like watching him, it's like watching a Rhodes Scholar try to debate a potato.
Well, that and every time he was out in public, you had him molesting people, children. Remember when he had the woman sit on his lap?
sit on my lap and tell me what you want for Christmas, little girl.
Yeah. And well, I do know Aggie has trolled us in chat. In the green room, actually.
They normally do.
Well, G showed up and asked, just got home, what did I miss? And Aggie responded, me in garters and stockings.
Fun times, right?
Yeah, I missed that too. So what happens when you don't go on Twitter? But my blood pressure's down, so I got that going for me. I am Groot. So, there was something I was going to talk about. Well, we could talk about it summer. And everybody, we're having unprecedented hot weather. I can't believe we're having hot weather in summer.
I mean, well, it's all climate change's fault. Everybody knows there's supposed to be penguins right now instead of triple digits.
Well, that was the New York Post 50 years ago.
So John just brought up a good point on X. Remember when they were going to 25th Amendment the last dude for using two hands to drink his water? Because I do.
Yeah. I remember that.
So much fun, so little
and
time.
He couldn't walk down a ramp. Right?
Yeah, everybody seems to forget the fact that
that
the Marine that was reporting you couldn't make that same walk either.
So I think we're going to see some really ugly stuff here in the next couple of weeks. And there's a good possibility that the Democrat Party is going to be split. They're going to fragment. This is going to be a great DNC to watch.
I mean, I'm still not even sure they're going to have the DNC. I think they're going to, some weird shit's going to happen and they're going to decide to do it all virtually.
You think?
I'm pretty sure. I mean,
I don't know I don't know how they can do it and keep the war fund.
Fun times.
That's the problem, is the war fund. Now, I can see them 25th and Joe. And I wrote about this over the weekend where just after Kamala takes the oath, she starts to cackle and then pulls her face off, just like Ethan Hunt on Mission Impossible. The bad guy did that on the plane. And the cackle changes to Hillary, and it's Hillary underneath all of that.
Now, there's a hell of a thought. Thank you for giving me my nightmare for the evening, sir.
And goes, I'm back, bitches. I can write better fiction than Stephen King. That's some horror there.
That's some scary shit right there, my dude. Thanks for that. Wow.
You never seen them together, have you?
You bring up a good point.
I'm just saying. Sorry, Rap.
Yeah, I think you just gave Raptor insomnia for the night, sir.
Well, it's what I do. I mean, I can scare my grandchildren by just saying, just imagine you'll wake up tomorrow and there'll be no candy.
No candy?
That gets them going. Yeah, then I'll walk out the door and let their mom deal with it.
Z, I keep telling you, we can multitask. We can focus on our show and harass you all at the same time.
Are we supposed to? I mean, she is now vertically superior to penguins.
Just barely.
Ay.
Oh.
We know penguins can be taller than Z. But no, I had saw something. Oh, y'all were talking about Candace Owens.
Oh, yeah.
Last show. And I mentioned the Dave Chappelle skit, where he was the black man in the KKK. That was the skit I was talking about.
I knew which one you're talking about, but holy crap.
And I just that's it. I never, like you, I never got into Candace Owens. And I just whatever. But
I don't know. I mean, to me, my whole take with Candace Owens, and maybe it's because of the bad experience I had with Wayne Dupree, but she always, when she kind of came on the scene and started becoming a big deal, she just reminded me of the female version of him, because it was like you could just see that her arguments would change depending on who she was talking to. And I'm just like, no.
I don't even know who Wayne is. So,
well, it's probably because you're lucky you. But anyway, he was the operations manager for a group called We Are America Radio. It's actually where Stacy and JD and a few others came from when they got ticked off at him over stuff that he was doing. But he got mad at me because they wanted to simulcast with me, JD and Stacy, and then so he was starting to be a dick towards me, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know what you're mad about. You already poached one of my people. At least I'm coming to you saying, hey, this is what they want to do. Do you have a problem with it? And then I guess they talked him into it, and then everybody got mad over there because he wanted to start charging a monthly rate to use his account, and they were like, no, we're going to go find somewhere else. And then eventually some of them came over to me when I was at K90 Talk, and then some went over to 405 Radio, and then eventually they all came over here. And then most of those folks are off doing their own things now. I actually found Clay and Angie's archives, though, so when we do get everything up and running to the point where we're on 24 hours, I think their older stuff is going to be running in the overnights on the weekends. Because I found everybody's stuff. So I was like, oh, this is all still here. I didn't know it was all still here. I'm going to have you about that. But anyway, but yeah, no, it's just, I don't know. I've never really been a fan of hers. It's kind of like the whole Tommy Lahren thing. I guess she's with Clay's outfit now over at Outkick, and I'm just like, oh no. I I don't know. But then again, there are some people that are affiliated with the Blaze that I just really don't ever get into either. Steve Dace happens to be one of them. It's not that I don't think he's good at what he does and that he's a decent enough guy. It's just I have more fun watching paint dry.
Well, that's why I let my Blaze account lapse. I just canceled it because Dana Loesch left, and then it was like nothing else. It didn't seem fun anymore. That was the whole thing about the Blaze and listening to Glenn Beck is it was fun. They were funny, and now it's like no, not there, not doing it for me. And it's just not me. It's not for me. So I don't want to spend the money if I'm not going to utilize it.
No, I get that. I mean, it's honestly, plus, anymore, if I want to watch anything to do with the Blaze, I can just go to Pluto TV because it plays all the ones that I care about anyway. And I can watch that for free. And it's not that I didn't used to support them. Hell, I still pay the subscription to be able to get into some of the Blaze articles. I just don't pay for the TV side anymore because there's just not enough. First, to me, there's not enough there to justify a subscription. It's one of the reasons why if we ever do that, it's going to be, you're going to be subscribing for a specific show and that's it. Instead of, oh, we're going to make you pay this flat rate and then you're going to get all of this and there's not going to be anything there because it's just the same 6 shows really over and over and over again. I'm just like, no. But
with the same stuff.
Pretty much. But and that's not even me trying to toot my own horn. That's just somebody as a consumer going, if you're going to make people pay to watch your shit, make sure there's stuff there worth watching. I could say that about anybody at this point. Paramount Plus has almost nothing on it as far as new programming that I want to watch. And even when it does, the seasons are so short now, you're done in 10 weeks anyway. And everything is that way now. If you're going to make people pay to watch your stuff, make sure there's stuff that's there that people that actually want to watch. I get it that, everybody for the longest time has been screaming that they want like a la carte TV services, etc. But now we've gone all the way to the other end of the equation where now you've got all of these standalone streaming services that can't survive because they've outkicked their coverage. So now they're trying to raise rates and everything else. And now they're trying to bundle together with each other. Hell, that's like right now, Paramount Plus has been in talks with 3 different groups to buy their entire library because try as they might, they're not making any money. And I'm like, how in the hell, when you have some of the only sci-fi programming that's even really worth a damn anymore because of what Disney's done to Star Wars, how can you still not be making any money? Unless it's because you guys overestimated everything and you've overspent on everything. Say what you want about sci-fi. It didn't used to be expensive to make, but it was still entertaining. Now they think you have to have like top of the line everything. And the last I heard, I think Discovery in season 5 was like $30 or $40 million an episode. That just seems crazy to me to be spending that much per episode. And most of that is going to their special effects budget when they kept telling us that the more computers came into special effects, the cheaper it was going to be able to do special effects. Well, what happened? Because now almost everything special effects is done CGI, and it's so damned expensive that if you're not making $100 million an episode, you're not seeing a profit. I don't know. It just, everything in the world seems upside down to me because everything has become about chasing money. I get it. I'm a capitalist. I want to make as much money as possible. But I also don't want to just charge people and go, hey, you don't like it? Go to somewhere else. Anyway.
Yeah. I will say I look back on some of the older shows with the old special effects and the old computer graphics, and it's like, okay, we've gotten spoiled. But I personally prefer the physical special effects.
Yes, Z, 10 weeks is short when you're used to getting When I was a kid, it was at least 26 weeks worth of episodes, not counting the few reruns that got sprinkled in, and then basically you got 3 months off. So, yes, 10 weeks is a very short season to me. And to me, it's not worth it. I mean, and I've talked about this with Discovery. Season 5, Discovery finally seems like it found its feet after going through all kinds of BS in between the writers that decided that Klingons needed to be different in this iteration of Star Trek instead of sticking with what everybody knew, which was a big mistake. Then they took too long to explain how come Spock had a sister that nobody knew about, which turned a lot of people off. But then by the time they finally got to their 50th episode, which was the finale, you kind of felt like you were finally starting to relate to the characters because with acting and with new series, everyone starts off dry and robotic, no matter how hard they try not to. The same thing has happened with almost every single Star Trek series known to man. The same with the first season, the first series. The first series had all kinds of continuity issues because it wasn't a thing yet. It took them forever to even start putting Bibles together for the characters, and by the time they finally started doing that, the studio decided to cancel it. That was at the end of their 3rd season. So then
And
they
they didn't
did
even do it then, right?
the
They did.
animated series, and then basically Roddenberry got serious about the whole Star Trek thing when he started trying to relaunch it as another TV show, and then he figured out there was more money in movies. So that's when they started getting serious about putting things together about how the tech worked and everything else. But still, even with Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I've talked about this on a lot of different shows, the first 2 seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generation were trash. The only reason people watched it was because it was new Star Trek and we hadn't had anything like that in forever other than the movies. So people hung around just to see, hey, is this going to get any better or not? The first 2 seasons were a rehash of episodes seen and unseen from the original series. And then in the 3rd season, at approximately 55 episodes in, Star Trek: The Next Generation found its feet. And then it had a really good about 3 years, and then the final season was kinda like, "Why are we still here?" But we told everybody we were doing 7 seasons. So, I mean, the thing about it is I'm pretty picky when it comes to TV. And I've said this over and over and over again. Before a show even gets a pilot to see where it's gonna go, it needs to have a Bible. And then once the studio gets to see the pilot, whoever's pitching the show needs to understand if you're going to pick this up, we want to start all the way through and finish to the end of the story that we have put together. And if you're not going to let us do that, then we're going to shop it somewhere else. Because I hate investing time into series and getting to understand characters and get to know characters and getting invested in the characters just for them to go, oh, look, surprise, we're not renewing this one. And it annoys the crap out of me when they do that.
Imagine it on books.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't happen as often with books, though. I mean, it does, but eventually, like, I mean, the same, like with Stephen King with The Dark Tower, that one was left unfinished for forever because for the longest time, the publisher didn't want to do anything with it, but eventually he got to come back and finish it. And unfortunately for him, he took so long that I lost interest, but I do know that it's been finished.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
There are some books that, you know, and I'm a big reader, so that's where I get, there are series that I started and I've not finished. Simply because I lost interest in them. And then there are some books to where it's like, okay, I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And it's like, oh, the author died. Oh, now what do I do? Because it's like unfinished. And
yeah, I've not read too many series of books where it didn't get finished because the author died. But then again, I don't read quite as much as I used to either. Usually if I read anything anymore, it's normally on an audiobook because I'll just kind of have it kind of going while I'm doing something else. Because Lord knows I can't sit still long enough to read a book anymore.
It's cheaper because you can buy the Kindle book and pick up the audio for $3.
Well, I mean, and some of them, like there were a couple of Star Wars books that I preferred in audio format because there was, and I wish I could remember the name of the company that did it, but there were a couple, and one of them was part of the Thrawn series that they actually acted out as a radio drama. I mean, complete with not just you know like like emotional readings, but actually different actors and sound effects and all of it. And the first time I heard one of those, I was like, "This is amazing! It's like having a movie in my head." Because it was just, I don't know. I mean, I do know that the audio versions of the books are usually a little bit shorter, and I understand that. But at the same time, especially if it's like a history book or something, or it's a book about an historical character, I would much rather have it in an audio format. But maybe that's just me.
Well, you got to have the right reader too for audiobooks
This is true.
because I watched the movie Ready Player One.
Yeah.
And then I listened to the audiobook. And Will Wheaton is the reader.
I'm
And
sorry.
I didn't expect it to be good because I have colorations and biases towards Wesley, but it actually turned out to be he did that book rather well.
See, my issues with Will Wheaton are not necessarily about his acting. As he got older, he did actually turn into a fairly decent actor. Now, most of the time, he was playing either super nerdy characters or playing himself playing a super nerdy character, a la The Big Bang Theory. But he still, has decent acting chops. So that wasn't really my issue with him. And honestly, I didn't even mind him in Star Trek The Next Generation because we are fairly close in age. So I was always I was the kid who would always daydream about, the whole premise of the spoof movie they made with Tim Allen that I can't think of the name of right now, um, where he was basically the captain of the starship, and it turned out that like an
Yeah, I
alien
know.
race made it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
for some reason,
I just watched that movie. I just watched this
I
movie too.
cannot think of the name of it for the life of me. But that was basically my whole daydream as a kid was, them coming back in time and beaming me up and me getting to go off and, strange new worlds, that kind of thing. I used to daydream about that all the time. So having a character on there that was close to my age for at least a while was kind of fun. And then they made him a pretentious asshole. And I'm like, oh, so it's life imitating art or art imitating life. I don't really know which one. Um,
Well,
and
that's just it. I didn't have a problem with him as an actor. I have a problem with him the fact that he's just a douche in real life.
yeah, no.
But he reading that book, and because it's the unabridged of the story of the book, did really well, and I really enjoyed listening to that book with him. And I I was surprised by it. But there's a set of books that by Dennis L. McKiernan that's on audio. They're the Dark Tower trilogy and the Silver Call duology, and the two readers for those books they do a good job, but it's like that's not the voice for the characters. That's because if you listen to it and you've read the book before you heard the audio, it's like, okay, this is the voice of that character. I know what he sounds like. And then when you hear it by somebody else, you're like, no, that's not it. That's wrong. It just doesn't work that way. So it just, there are some that do it and some don't. So, but there are some really good readers. And Will did a good job on that book. I'll be the first to admit it.
I mean, well, it's like, so Star Trek wise, they just put out season 2 of Prodigy, which he's in. Not going to give any spoilers, but Prodigy is probably one of the least popular new Star Trek platforms, which originally was done through Nickelodeon, geared towards younger audiences. I absolutely loved it because it was one of the ways that I could introduce my granddaughter to Star Trek because she's not really into the older stuff yet. She does like that show though. But the thing about it is that I guess Paramount decided, even after they had done the production for the entire second season and had it in the can, they decided to kill it and use all the production cost and everything as a tax write-off because they're in over their head. So then Netflix picked it up. So Netflix ran the whole first season first, and then they just recently dropped the second one. That for an animated show specifically, and for recent Trek, I put season 2 up against anything that's been out recently
Well,
because it's a decent show. I mean, and granted, it has a lot of member berries from Voyager and Next Generation, and it even ties into Picard, especially season 2 and 3 a little bit. But it's just one of those things of anytime these people have something that's worth a damn, they either screw it up or they stop making it. And I'm just like, I miss the days when studios would stick with things. I really do.
well,
Because
I started to watch that. I think I've got 4 or 5 episodes in Prodigy.
yeah, if you're in season 1, you got to give it a minute. Season 2 is
Oh,
really
no,
good.
I was enjoying it. I thought it was actually pretty good. I just haven't gotten back to it because I haven't had the time, and I won't watch it here at the house because one, if the granddaughters come in, they're going to want to see it, and I can't tell them they're not allowed to see it. So I try not to watch things like that because I know they can't watch it.
They can't watch Star Trek cartoons?
Their mom is very particular about what they watch because remember now they range from 8 to 2. And nightmares are very easy in the family.
Okay. I could see that, I guess.
I mean, it's one of those ones that they had nightmares after Moana. So,
Wait, they had nightmares after Moana?
yep.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I kind of see that now.
I mean, when you have nightmares and it's like, really, no. I mean, it's one of those ones that we have to watch and screen these shows beforehand, just to make sure that one that it doesn't have something in there that we're going to have to explain what's going on, i.e., what? Well, the reason why those 2 characters are wrapped like that is right. So that, and we don't need them to. We don't want them to have the nightmares and the images. Trying to avoid introducing things they don't need to see yet. And my oldest granddaughter, Naomi, she's very upset because she wants to see the Pirates movies, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And as I tell her, baby, I will watch every one of those movies with you, but you've got to be older before that can happen. And she's always like, well, how much older? And I said, old enough to where you don't get nightmares. And she looked at me and she goes, Papa, I'll be your age when that happens. And I said, well, if you are, you are. And there's nothing to be ashamed about.
Oh. Fun times.
Did we go long?
No.
Okay.
We've only been going for 45 minutes, sir.
Okay, I can't keep track of the time. I'm old, all right? Forgive me.
No, I think what threw you off is we started on the half hour.
Yeah, that may be.
But yeah, anyway.
Always get back to Trek.
You're still stuck with me for like another 50 minutes, sir.
Oh no, it's not stuck if you like it.
Oh, no comment. No comment.
So, did you? Oh, I posted something, and I really hope Ordy and Brad cover it tomorrow, but I don't know if they will or not. But did you see the post I did where I tagged in Orty and Brad?
No, my feed's kind of been a mess lately. So unless I go look for people, I'm not really finding them anymore. I don't know what's going on.
Well, there was a trailer I saw. And I tagged him. It was yesterday, I want to say.
Well, do tell. Do tell.
Well, I'm trying to remember now. Remember, I'm old, okay? You want to talk about a short attention span. I have it. So let's go to my profile because I'll find it there.
Dun,
Under
dun,
media.
dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Easily distracted by tits and taco. Yes, I
am. Not necessarily in that order either.
Nope.
Preferably in that order, but not necessarily.
I'm really upset. I posted a Monty Python themed meme this morning and didn't get the interactions I thought I would.
Yeah, he found it. I guess you tagged him about a Time Bandits.
Time Bandits. Time Bandits. A Time Bandits reboot. Who asked for that?
Yeah, did anybody ask for that? I still think it's funny that because there was such a huge success with Top Gun Maverick that now they're going to try to make a third one. I'm like, that story was pretty well done. You should have just left it alone. I mean, you made us wait 40 years for the next installment anyway. And then it pretty much tied up his story arc pretty well. We probably should have just left it alone. But sure, let's try to make more money off of it and fuck it up. Because I already had some issues with that movie to begin with, but it was still better than a lot of things that have been put out lately.
Yeah, let me tell you how good that movie is. When my wife can't sleep at night, she puts that on.
Nice. That's only because Tom Cruise's voice puts her to sleep, sir.
I'm just saying. She used to do it to Die Hard.
See, that's one of those things, though, and honestly, believe it or not, there is like a trauma response kind of thing to that. If it's something that you've seen before or that you know fairly well, it makes it a lot easier to go to sleep. And I know this now, and it never used to be a problem for me, but it has been over the last few years because I have, I do still have some PTSD over the divorce. If I turn on something new, I can't sleep. It doesn't matter. No matter how tired I am, I'm like, okay, I got to see how this ends. And it's even worse if it's a series because then it'll be like, well, now I got to watch one more. So if I'm trying to go to sleep because I can't sleep in complete silence anymore, I either have to have some sort of music playing or I have to have something on that I've seen before so that my brain will shut down well enough that I can actually go to sleep. Because there have been times I have been absolutely exhausted and started a movie just thinking, well, I'll just fall asleep, while I'm watching this movie. And I never go to sleep. It happened to me not this week, but last week. I was up for 28 hours because I was completely exhausted. And it was, I think honestly, it was after one of my busy nights. I'm always, it's weird because I'll be tired, but still a little wired, but don't really have a voice. So I don't really want to do too much other than just veg out and watch TV. So I decided to turn on something new, just thinking, I'll just fall asleep. And then so I watched that movie, and then something else popped up. I'm like, oh, that looks good too. I'll watch that. And the next thing I know, it's like 4 a.m. I still haven't slept. And I'm like, well, now I'll just get up, make coffee, and go to work. So I didn't go to sleep until like the next night because I watched 2 movies instead of turning on something that I knew would have caused me to relax. So I can kind of understand why if she's having trouble sleeping, she turns something on that she's used to or that she's seen before, because sometimes I have to do the same thing.
Well, the thing is, though, She was, I want to say it was in the last 8 years that she finally watched Die Hard. We went to the movie theater to see it together, and she fell asleep in the movie theater. And it's a response for her that whenever Die Hard comes on, she goes to sleep.
That's still kind of funny to me, though.
I'm like, really? Really? And it's like, in the movie theater? You didn't wake up to the big explosions, the loud. It's like, really? I mean, I can see falling asleep with it on the TV because you got the volume turned down. But you're in the movie theater. Yeah, it is surprising to say the least. But yeah, they're doing a Time Bandits remake, and that's supposed to be a series on Apple TV. So you nobody will watch it. And
speaking of Apple TV, I'm really mad right now because I was driving around running errands the other day, and a commercial came on for the top shows that are on streaming right now. And Apple TV apparently has a show called Dark Matter, which for those of you who've listened to me and already, you know that we have a love-hate thing with the folks that made the sci-fi version of Dark Matter, because just as it was getting good, they canceled it. So for like half a second, I thought Apple TV rescued it. So I'm like, oh my God, there's a new season of Dark Matter. So I wait till I get home and I search it, and apparently it's a completely different show. Uh, Based on a book with the same name, and now I'm both sad and mad at the same time, and I'm still cursing sci-fi. Speaking of sci-fi, I don't know who's running shit over there, but they need to be fired because they've now decided that Resident Alien has been canceled over there, but instead of canceling it completely, they're transitioning the rights to USA Network to do Resident Alien. These people are fucking insane.
Sci-Fi should have just stuck to making Sharknado movies.
Oh, they still make those. But that's just it. I mean, during Sci-Fi's heyday, they were awesome. I mean, they had
Warehouse
they
13.
Warehouse 13, they had Eureka. They managed to get Stargate from Showtime and then turned it into its own little empire until the folks that actually had the rights to Stargate ran themselves into the ground, which seems like that's really bad business planning to do that when you have that much money coming in from somewhere. But I mean, and I mean, but then they went to reality TV, like everybody did for a time, and it was like Face Off and all these other things. And it's just nothing's been the same. Sci-Fi and USA both were during the early 2000s were like powerhouses of new TV shows that were actually really good. And then everybody went to reality TV, and then nobody watches them at all anymore. I mean, hell, half the time when I watch Resident Alien, I wait until the entire season's out and go watch it on Peacock because fuck sci-fi. But now I'm like, well, USA is owned by
USAA.
them. So USA is owned by them, so I'm hoping I'm still going to get it on Peacock.
Well,
Anyway.
USAA, they went straight wrestling.
Well, you know,
And
pretty much.
7 nights a week they got wrestling on, and I'm like, really? Are that many people watching wrestling?
No. No. You know how I know that not that many people are even watching wrestling anymore? If you have a Peacock subscription, you can get every WrestleMania pay-per-view event or WWE pay-per-view event for free. That's how I know that people aren't really watching it anymore, because I remember when people would pay almost $100 to watch one of those stupid things. Now all you got to do is give Peacock $5.99 a month, and you get to watch it anytime you want. But
And Jeff, our resident alien is right. There's a higher concentration of smart people on podcast and the game streamers. Yeah, I just don't understand the watching the video game streamers. I'm gonna pay to watch somebody play a video game when I could play the video game. I'm confused
well,
by
I
that
mean,
one.
so some of it is like, some people will watch them because maybe they're stuck on a video game or something, and they'll watch them and figure out how they get through it. And then for some reason, like the younger generation absolutely loves watching other people play video games. I don't know. I'm guessing it's probably something akin to when NASCAR became a thing and all the moonshiners were like, so I'm going to go watch a dude drive around the track when I could be doing it myself. Kind of thinking it was probably that same kind of general feeling.
I like NASCAR when me and you could put a car together, put a 5-point roll cage in there with a seatbelt, and we could go race.
Yeah, well, as Jeff pointed out, you don't actually have to pay to watch them, and I mean, I wouldn't know, but he says the top tier people are actually pretty good entertainers. So,
well, I imagine they have to be. I mean, there has to be something, right? It's like this
yeah.
Mr. Beast. I don't
Oh
know who
God.
he is. I don't know who he is, other than the fact that he sounds like an asshole from some of the stuff that I've heard and read. But he obviously entertains somebody. Somebody's entertained by him because he gets a lot of money. And I mean, look at the Kardashians. I've never seen people. They're the first ones. Them and the Paris Hilton. You know, they're rich and they're famous because why? Right? They don't star in movies. They're not part of the media, but they're rich and famous.
Yeah, I never really have understood that either.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I figure a lot of the podcasts. I mean, what we're trying to do here is be entertainment, but also not be like everybody else. We're trying to be original, and if people listen, they listen. If they don't listen, fair enough. I'm not a problem with that. But I don't understand a lot of what some of them do. You know, it's like TikTok. I don't understand TikTok. I won't sign up for it because one, I refuse to give the Chinese any more of my personal data than what they have now, and I just figured to make them work for it. But I understand that TikTok is how you can make money. That's where all the kids went when they left Facebook and Instagram. And I think Twitter and Jack made a big mistake when they took Reels away on Twitter. Oh, but maybe it's I'm old. That's probably what it is I'm of the generation I don't understand it and can't see it. I don't want to interact people. I don't want people to like me. I just want to be left alone. That and throw pistachios at imps on refrigerators.
Nice.
Yes, I know, Zelda. I'm extremely old. My grandchildren tell me that all the time, especially when I had one of them look at me and go, Papa, was the world in black and white when you were a kid? I didn't have the heart to tell her we were all stick people back then.
They've been like, honey, the world was 2-dimensional when I was a kid. You didn't have the third dimension until later.
It's only telling the truth now. But yeah, it's we do have the fair going on here in town.
You do? Awesome.
Yep. Started tonight. In fact, my granddaughters wanted me to go out with them and sign up for the donkey riding relay races. And I just had a problem seeing an ass riding an ass.
I was not there. What are you? Oh, wait, never mind.
And so I figured I couldn't be doing that. Jeff, yes, it was 2-dimensional. just like the sound was mono.
Nice.
But yeah, that's the fair's opened, and we're hoping that McKenna can get the all clear from the doctor so she can ride rides, and that's what we'll be doing all night Friday night, or they'll be doing all night Friday night, and I'll be sitting down on the ground going, "Yeah, you're not getting me on that." You gotta. Sorry, Jeff. We're gonna need ID. You're gonna need to show proof that you're older. I am gonna get me an alien ID. Hopefully, it'll get me in all the alien bars. Oh man. But yep, we got the fair going on. I don't even know what's going on. We got all sorts of. Let me see. I've got the brochure. I'll open up the brochure. We can discuss what fun things they're doing. Tomorrow we have stalling for the 4-H livestock contest. They're doing the FFA rabbit show followed by the poultry show. Tomorrow, the carnival and the beer garden opens. We know where Papa's going to be hanging out. They
Beer
have
garden.
axe throwing. Yep. Think I'll go spend an hour at the beer garden and then go axe throwing.
Might want to do the axe throwing before the beer garden. Just my
That'll
two
be on Friday. That'll be on Friday.
Just my 2 cents. I'm just glad I'm not going to be anywhere around you when you're throwing axes after spending an hour in the beer garden.
This could be fun. Think about it.
It could be fun. They may also have to
Although-
up their liability insurance by the time you're done.
Although I'm not sure what pony riding mini golf. Not sure how that works.
Well, I mean, it kind of sounds like midget polo.
That could be interesting. Hey, are we returning to the 80s with midget polo?
I mean, you take mini golf and ponies and you put those together, you pretty much have midget polo. I'm just saying.
Maybe we'll have Joe Biden up there.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. Is that Joe Biden pooping or the pony? We got a livestock weigh-ins also tomorrow night. Ooh, we're doing mutton busting.
Mutton busting. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's not what I read at first.
You are such a
We're
dirty
good.
old man, and I'm here for it.
We're going muffin busting. I'm going to be divorced by tomorrow night.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, we need to have a talk, sir. You're like, what do I do now?
It's not going to be that. I'm just going to break out the list and say, okay, which one?
Which one?
I have a list. You couldn't pick up an axe there, Zelda.
I mean, she could, if it was like from like a GI Joe doll or something.
I still think it'd be too big for her.
She's gonna be throwing stuff at me later.
Fair. And then on Friday, they got root beer floats on Friday.
Oh, yummy.
Yeah. And then there's more axe throwing and pony rides and miniature golf. And there's the beer garden again. Cool.
I'm noticing a theme with your fair, sir.
And
Oh, I'm not disappointed or anything. I'm just saying I'm noticing a theme. There's
It reminds me of Busch Gardens when I was growing up in Tampa. You used to be able to take the brewery tour and get free beer at the end of it.
yay. Free beer is always the best beer.
We were all over that. And that's when Busch Gardens was just a bird show and the monorail ride out in the wild with the wild African animals. And that was it. That was all Busch Gardens was. And that was in Tampa, though. Zelda, who doesn't ask that question before they go ride ponies? You know, this is why the generations are not going to last. Gen X and the boomers were the tough generations because the boomers would just get drunk and then we got our kids drunk and just left them all alone. We threatened them with violence.
I don't know. I'm starting to see some videos that are coming out showing Gen Alpha may be the next Gen X crew because they're going outside and shit again like we used to because they don't have a choice because their parents are like, fuck you, go outside.
Yep, and that's Friday night. We got that and root beer floats. They got a sale, ranch rodeo, balloon animals. I'm gonna take a straight pin with me for and tattoos. They're doing tattoos. Cool. I'm gonna get a sleeve done on my granddaughters.
No.
Look, Ma!
Look what Grandpa let us do.
Yeah, they got naked women on their arms. Ooh,
I thought
Saturday.
I thought you were gonna try to get murdered and just have them put The Rock's character from Moana on their arms, you know, because of their nightmares and stuff.
Well, you never know what makes them. But Saturday I definitely got to go because the beer garden opens at noon, and then the axe throwing is at 4. So gonna be nice. Ooh, they didn't tell me. I didn't know about that. They got a lawnmower endurance race. I didn't know we had lawnmower races. Let's see. Between now and Saturday, can I drop a V8 engine in my lawnmower? I can do it. I can do it.
Where's Al when you need him?
And then at 5 o'clock on Saturday, they got free barbecue.
Ooh, where's this at?
Come on up, Beulah, North Dakota.
Oh, that's a long drive for free barbecue. Might still be worth it though.
Free barbecue with the beer garden and axe throwing.
Oh, see, you're kind of selling it now.
With the lawnmower races. Come on.
Oh, so much fun, so little time. Oh,
and balloon animals for the kids.
Speaking of so much fun, so little time, did you know that apparently CNN is a MAGA network now?
All of media is MAGA.
This is put out from an account called Popular Liberal on X. Boom. At CNN, a network known for its strong allegiance to the MAGA movement experienced a significant decline in viewership of around 20% compared to the previous year, with only an average of 591,000 viewers tuning in. It appears that the network is losing its audience rapidly. The problem is CNN's never been a MAGA network, and the reason they've had a 20% drop in viewership over the last couple of years is because the airports got tired of paying to have their TV channels on their TV. So
That's the 20% drop right there.
That's been propping up CNN for forever because airports had it on everywhere. I was unaware that airports were paying CNN to be able to put their channel on their TVs. That just, I'm like,
Well, they didn't at first, right?
mhm.
They didn't at first, but sometime they started paying for it because it used to be CNN or the Weather Channel on there. So see, now that's just harsh. Oh man. But yeah, well, all the networks are MAGA right now because they're beating up on Joe. How dare they?
I guess you really have a point there. Oh, so here, this is interesting. I just saw this drop from Fox News. So I guess Uma Abedin is engaged to George Soros' son now. So
Who?
Uma Abedin is the ex-wife of disgraced Democratic politician Anthony Weiner and a Clinton aide, and now she's engaged to George Soros' son.
Isn't she like 100 years old or something?
No, I don't think so. Former top Clinton aide and MSNBC contributor Uma Abedin is getting married to Alex Soros, the son of billionaire Democratic mega donor George Soros. Liberal lovebirds announced their engagement on social media, with Soros sharing a photo of himself down on one knee. This happened. We couldn't be happier, more grateful, or more in love. Blah, 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 fucking blah. Abedin, the 48-year-old longtime aide of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, revealed to the public earlier this year that she was getting romantic with the 38-year-old Soros in a Valentine's Day post on Instagram, showing the pair cozying up behind a table full of roses at a restaurant booth in Paris. So, yeah, she's 48. He's 38. So, good news is she's not 90.
She's got no ass though. Looking at the picture.
She suffers from Nasitol.
No ass at all.
Exactly.
He's skinny.
I mean, they're both skinny as hell. But yeah,
Well,
she's like,
and he doesn't wear socks with loafers. God. Zelda, I'm not ashamed to admit I like a woman that has big butts. I like big butts. Thank you very much.
Oh.
My wife has a big butt. It's her best asset. You're right, Jeff. I can't change your mind.
I mean, yeah, he's probably right. Kind of wish he wasn't, but he's probably right.
Who's this rapper that's speaking for the RNC?
I don't know. I hadn't seen
Ruby something or whatever.
Zelda, that's kind of the opposite directions. Just saying. It's not like I get looped to Alabama and then go to North Dakota.
Amber Rose. Amber Rose. She is giving a speech at the RNC this year.
I haven't really paid that much attention about what's going on. But yeah,
Well,
I mean, I saw the story through Newsweek. But
yeah, I saw it come through the feed, About the same time, they were saying that Nikki Haley was not invited to speak. I want to say it was Red State or somebody had it about the fact that it might have been Eric Erickson that they had Amber Rose and they just invited DeSantis to speak at the last moment, and it's like, I mean, and I agree with what the article's author said is this is when you want to start highlighting the future of the RNC after Trump, because he's a lame duck if he gets elected. He doesn't have to run for re-election, and they don't have to do anything with it. If he doesn't have a House and a Senate, and they're Democratic, it'd be just like Obama's last 4 years, where he didn't have the Congress. He didn't have both houses. Nothing will get done, which is not a bad thing for the American public.
Yeah, I mean, well, all I know is apparently she was not a big Trump supporter in 16, so I'm kind of surprised to hear that she's endorsing him now. But
This comes back to we don't have serious politicians anymore. Our politics aren't serious, right? I mean, Candace Owens, one of them. I mean, all these, oh, they're the rising stars, and it's like, yeah, they're flaming out and they're idiots. Why are we listening? I mean, it's our Harry Sisson on the Republican.
the Chihuahua of human beings, Harry Sisson.
That was pretty painful. This earlier today with democracy.
You're welcome.
I was embarrassed for him.
I wasn't. I was muted most of the time, so you couldn't hear me laugh. But I wasn't embarrassed at all because the kid deserves everything that happened to him on that show.
Well, obviously he can't be embarrassed. He doesn't know how. But it just. And they're still trying to say that he's okay. He's cognizant.
He ain't cognizant of shit.
Well, I'm telling you, Hillary Clinton's going to be our president because she's really Kamala Harris. You've not seen the two of them together.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you pesky kids and that dog.
So he's not run. Bob Menendez. How did I miss this? Bob Menendez, out of Democrat from New Jersey, says he's not running for re-election in November as a Democrat. But he hopes that his exoneration will allow him to run as an independent in June. That come out March 21st.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, that's been out for a minute, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be exonerated though, so I don't think it'll matter.
Well, I like Fetterman. The reason is Heather retweeted John Fetterman, and it's hilarious. Dibs on your parking space. So, how do you think we should get rid of all these illegal immigrants? Did you see that question go through Twitter today?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people floating the question before. I mean, I wish I had an easy answer because I really don't, but I don't disagree that they need to be gotten rid of. I just don't really know how we would do it. I mean, how we don't even know where most of them are.
Trebuchet. Lots and lots of trebuchets.
Angry Birds.
Yeah. And I like what somebody said. We can always say, and every time one of them goes, we can just say, yeet. Gotta watch it. I still could. I talking with the wife. I have solved our illegal immigrant problem. We could close the border and make money doing it. All we have to do is build 50 cal machine gun towers every 150 yards along the border. And then we charge $50 an hour and the ammo used for people to keep our borders empty. We'd make money.
Probably.
So, what example do you have this week that our media hates us? I have an example.
What example do you have?
Our media hates us because they don't know anything about the Patriot Front.
Oh, you talking about that bunch of feds?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
We can find Granny that crossed into our capital and turned back around and left. We can find her. We can find anybody, but we can't find out anything about the people that are the Patriot Front and all wear black shirts, black polo shirts, beige pants, and mask, and arrive on U-Haul trucks. But well, Doc's Granny that tweeted a meme. So I just
So here's my thing with the whole Patriot Front thing. If you've seen the video footage, you should probably understand by now that none of these people have been in this organization for very long. There's no real backstop to the organization, and most all of them haven't done anything in those uniforms. Every single one of them, their approved attire, other than their shoes, looks basically brand new.
Yeah. And they're a bunch of racists and right wingers, and we know nothing about them. That's why I'm like, our media hates us, and they're a Fed, just like Epps. Ray Epps is a Fed because he didn't get nothing done to him, and we can't find a pipe bomber. That's the one I like. They still haven't found the pipe bomber.
Well, of course not. Hey, guess what?
We're up. Time's up.
Nope, not quite. We got like 9 minutes left, but still, we're like number 3 on Live on X right now. Woohoo!
Cool.
All right, but we are getting pretty close to time where we could start wrapping up because it'll probably take a few minutes for me and Amos to get settled in. So where can folks find you anyway?
Oh, you can find me on X at Nuke MM1 Retired. And you can find me here whenever you need somebody to come on and just fill a seat and make you look smart. I do that quite well. And I'm probably going to end up being on Laura's show one of these days as a victim, and we'll figure that out.
Alas, poor Andrew. We knew him well.
I'm going to change my name to Yurick just before it happens. I'm Yurick now. And I'm on every Wednesday, last Wednesday of every month with Toxic Masculinity with G Orty, you and our lovely barmaid Aggie, and Babe of the Month, which we always have because we have Aggie.
Yep. Even when we're babeless, we're not babeless because we have Aggie.
We always have Aggie. It's sort of like, what was it? No matter what, we have Poughkeepsie. What is it? It's a movie line. I can't remember it now. And other than that, that's pretty much where I'm at. I do have a blog that I don't write on, so you can find that through the link on my profile. But other than that, I don't write on it. China is asshole. Biden's asshole. And Jill.
China's asshole.
China asshole. And Jill Biden deserves to have a rail shoved up her ass and paraded out of town.
You really have to stop being so reserved and learn to tell us how you really feel, dude.
Well, I didn't say nothing about Hunter. He's such a loving father. Navy would disagree.
Yeah, here he is. Anyway.
And you, sir?
Well, you can find me here in just a few minutes, hopefully, doing the Rick and Orty Show with the Amish one. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon and the rest of the week doing the Rick Robinson Show, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, off Saturday night, other than producing for Talk Murder to Me, which is now every other Saturday night. I believe they are 9 Eastern, I think. And then Sunday night back doing America Off the Rails, 10 p.m. Eastern, then back around doing the Rick Robinson Show on Monday. Also, Aggie Rican, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern time on Friday night. I'll be sitting in with her doing He Said, She Said. That pretty much rounds up the week, and if I give everything I do, we'd be here for another 20 minutes. So other than that, you can find me at the Misfits Politics website occasionally as a contributor there, loftusparty.com, and Twitchy, and also I am the executive producer of the Loftus Party podcast, which usually drops on Tuesdays. And if you would like, you also are welcome to follow along with me at RowdyRick73 on most social media platforms, including X. And you can also follow along with the station at KLRNRadio. And we will hopefully, and I do say hopefully, get our domain situated again soon, because that's been really frustrating and it's not my fault. But I can't fix it either, which is kind of my fault. Because anyway,
and I will be beer garden axe throwing while polo riding miniature golf.
Nice. Oh. All right, so we're going to get out of here so we can start getting things squared away for the next one. Again, just want to thank everybody for taking the time to hang out with us. And, I do want to close with one quick thing. I absolutely love the fact that the Republican committee sent the Democratic committee a condolence card and a bunch of flowers because they heard about their tear-ridden meeting behind closed doors trying to get rid of Joe Biden. That is probably one of the most epic political trolls I think I've heard about in my lifetime. But on that note, we're going to get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. Orty and I will hopefully be with you here in just a few minutes. Take care, and we will see you when we see you. And if nothing else, I'll be back with you tomorrow afternoon.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.